would be a good thing.
It's so stupid because then I realized last night that they put the new address. Why don't you just send it there then?
Good morning. This is the City Planning Commission public meeting held at, held at the NYC City Planning Commission hearing room, Lower Concourse, 120 Broadway. Today is Wednesday, February 14, 2018. As a courtesy during the proceedings, we ask that you please turn off all cell phones and beepers. All speakers should fill out a speaker's card. In addition, we ask that those providing testimony please identify yourself, limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and speak clearly into the microphone. I will now call the roll. Chair Lago.
Here.
Chairman Knuckles. He's not here. Commissioner Besser.
Here.
Commissioner Cerullo.
Here.
Commissioner Delaus.
Here.
Commissioner Dweck.
Here.
Commissioner Edie.
Here.
Commissioner Efron.
Here.
Commissioner Knight.
Here.
Commissioner Levin.
Here.
Commissioner Marin.
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Here.
A quorum is present. The first item is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of Wednesday, January 31st, 2018, and special meeting of Monday, February 12th, 2018.
On the minutes, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved.
Scheduling. On calendar numbers 1 through 4, we have resolutions for adoption, scheduling Wednesday, February 28, 2018, for a public hearing to be held at the NYC City Planning Commission hearing room, Lower Concourse, 120 Broadway.
On the resolution, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The resolutions are adopted. The resolution is adopted.
The next part of the calendar is the report section on page 4. Borough of the Bronx, calendar numbers 5 through 10. Calendar number 5, CD2, C180121ZMX. Calendar number 6, N180122ZRX. Calendar number 7, C180123ZSX. Calendar number 8, C180124ZSX. Calendar number 9, C180126PPX. Calendar number 10, N180125ZAX. In the matter of applications for zoning map and zoning text amendments for grant of special permits, disposition of city-owned property, and for the grant of an authorization concerning the Spafford campus redevelopment. For favorable reports on calendar numbers 1 through 10, Chair Lago.
Yes.
Commissioner Besser.
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo.
Yes.
Commissioner Delaus.
I just want to say that I'm happy to support this exciting project, which I think takes a site that's been long associated with human challenges and concerns about public safety and redefines it in the community around it in a hopeful and integrated manner. I'm happy to vote yes.
Commissioner Dweck.
Yes.
Commissioner Edie.
Yes.
Commissioner Efron.
Yes.
Commissioner Knight.
Yes.
Commissioner Levin.
Yes.
Commissioner Marin.
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Yes.
Favorable reports have been adopted on calendar numbers 5 through 10. Borough of Brooklyn, calendar number 11, CD6, C180065, PCK. In the matter of an application for the site selection and acquisition of property concerning the Gowanus Canal CSO. For a favorable report on calendar number 11, Chair Lago.
Yes.
Commissioner Besser.
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo.
Yes.
Commissioner Delaus.
I guess I'm the one that wants to say a couple things today. First, I want to acknowledge the turnaround that the City of New York and New York City DEP have made under Mayor de Blasio around the city's responsibility for properly managing our CSOs in Gowanus and cooperating with the U.S. EPA and the Gowanus Canal cleanup. Gowanus has suffered from cumulative impacts of multiple environmental burdens for decades, and its residents deserve to be treated fairly and with dignity and respect. This plan reduces the more than 300 million gallons of combined sewer overflow that annually go into the canal by approximately 70%, and expands publicly accessible open space in a community whose population is increasing and that already lacks open space. It's a win-win, and with that, I vote yes.
Commissioner Dweck.
Yes.
Commissioner Edie.
Yes.
Commissioner Efron.
Yes.
Commissioner Knight.
Yes.
Commissioner Levin.
Yes.
Commissioner Marin.
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 11. Borough of Brooklyn, calendar number 12, CD9, C150187, PQK. In the matter of an application for the acquisition of property concerning the Friends of Krung Heights 11 Daycare Center. For a favorable report on calendar number 12, Chair Lago.
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 12. Borough of Queens, calendar number 13, CD1, C150279PQQ. In the matter of an application for the acquisition of property concerning the Queensbridge Early Childhood Development Center. For a favorable report on calendar number 13, Chair Lago,
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 13. Borough of Manhattan, calendar number 14, CD1, N180167PXM. In the matter of a notice of intent to acquire office space concerning the Campaign Finance Board. For a favorable report on calendar number 14, Chair Lago?
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Yes.
A favorable report has been adopted on calendar number 14. Let's turn to the supplemental calendar. Borough of Brooklyn, calendar number 1, CD8, N180140ZAK. In the matter of an application for the grant of an authorization concerning 805 Washington Avenue for adoption on calendar number 1. Chair Lago?
Yes.
Commissioner Bessa?
Yes.
Commissioner Cerullo?
Yes.
Commissioner Delauss?
Yes.
Commissioner Dweck?
Yes.
Commissioner Edie?
Yes.
Commissioner Efron?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Levin?
Yes.
Commissioner Marin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Yes.
Calendar number 1 has been adopted. The next part of the calendar is a public hearing section on page 13. Borough of the Bronx, calendar numbers 15, 16, and 17. Calendar number 15, CD1, C180130HAX. Calendar number 16, C180131ZMX. Calendar number 17, N180132ZRX. A public hearing in the matter of applications for a UDAP designation, project approval, disposition of city-owned property, and for zoning map and zoning text amendments concerning the Park Haven residents.
We're going to have a 10-minute team presentation by Kay Real of HPD, Desiree Underpont of the Community Builders, and Ted Weinstein of HPD. Also available for questions from the Commission are Eileen Torres of Bronx Works and David Stewart, the architect for the project.
Good morning, Chair Lago and Commissioners, and happy Valentine's Day. My name is Kay Real, representing the applicant HPD. It's my pleasure to present you with a new development being called Park Haven, to be located on the southwest corner of St. Anne's Avenue and East 142nd Street. This development will provide 169 units of affordable rental housing, plus 1 superintendent's unit in a new 11-story building. The project was the winning selection from an RFP released in 2015 to rezone and redevelop 9 contiguous city-owned lots to create residential, commercial, and community facility uses that are compatible with the surrounding area. Some of the benefits of this project include the ground floor, which will offer a community facility space and a much-needed supermarket selling fresh fruits and vegetables. The project will offer a range of affordability levels, and architecturally, this is an attractive project that really tries to engage with the surrounding area. The actions before you today are the approval of the disposition and UDAP designation and the approval of a zoning map amendment and zoning text amendment as it relates to mandatory inclusionary housing. In addition, in a separate but related application, we're applying for a fresh food store certification to allow an additional 7,500 square feet of floor area to provide a supermarket that offers fresh food to the surrounding area. We request your approval of these actions to support a project that is responsive to the community needs, appropriate with the neighboring context, and will serve to further activate the streetscape along St. Anne's Avenue. Also here to speak about the details of the project and or answer questions are Desiree Andrepont, representing the developer, the community builders, David Stewart, representing the architect, EDI International, Eileen Torres, representing the community service provider, BronxWorks, and Ted Weinstein, also from HPD. And I'm also available to answer questions.
And thank you, Ms. Real, for being the first person to testify in our new meeting space.
Good morning. It's very exciting. Our project, we call it Park Haven, is located at the intersection of St. Anne's Avenue and 142nd Street in the South Bronx. It's 170 residential units, and we have on the ground floor a fresh food grocer and a workforce development program that will be operated by our partner, BronxWorks. The 170 residential units, 80% of the units will be low-income units, and we have several income tiers that we can break down. We have a 40 AMI, 50 AMI, 60 AMI, and 80 AMI tiers. 30% of the units will be set aside for formerly homeless families, and we will be providing on-site support services to those families, comprehensive case management, and BronxWorks will be providing those services as well. BronxWorks has actually been awarded a grant to provide those services at this site. So that's, I feel like, an important part of the project here. Some of the tenant amenities include outdoor areas, and I can show you back. We have some community gardening outdoors. We have a terrace here and an outdoor roof space and a courtyard here that are accessible for the residents. We will have an on-site gym, bicycle parking, other indoor recreation areas, and one of my favorite things is that we will have a laundry room that's above grade, and it will be adjacent to this roof area, so folks can do their laundry and go outside and enjoy some outdoor weather, have their kids play and things like that. Again, at the ground floor, back to the front, we'll have a fresh food grocer here along St. Anne's, and it's expected to be 7,500 square feet at the ground floor level, and workforce development program operated along 142nd Street. It's a group of programs that BronxWorks is currently operating out of another site in the South Bronx, but they'll be relocating all of those programs here. The building design, the ground floor, commercial and community uses will be centered around an open residential lobby. There'll be a central staircase that's located adjacent to the elevators. It's actually designed along the active design guidelines, so there's natural light and wide corridors, so we're hoping to encourage folks to use the stairs there. There are other required stairs in the area, but we wanted to include something central that was easy to access and easy to identify. We have an open glass lobby that will help provide some openness to the community on the corner here, but also have some eyes on the street. We've been made aware of some security concerns that the community has. We're hoping to address some of those things by providing a more open, more visible lobby area. There's also an open air corridor adjacent to the entry, so there will be a line of sight to the People's Park, which is directly behind this building. The building rear facade is very visible from the People's Park and from the block behind the corner. So we're designing this rear of the building to be bright and visually attractive because it is going to be something that folks see a lot of. The building will be a high-performance, energy-efficient building, and we're expecting to meet Passive House standards. We'll also meet Enterprise Green Community standards as a requirement of HPD. We'll have, in terms of energy efficiency, triple-pane windows, exterior wall systems that exceed the energy code, increased insulation through the building envelope, and a highly energy efficient mechanical system for heating and cooling and fresh air. We'll also have a rooftop solar array for sustainable features, and we will also have a rainwater recycling to provide irrigation to the landscape features here. Those are the primary building features. I also wanted to address a couple of concerns that the community board had. One is the property management firm. The community board made us aware that they had some issues with the property management firm that we originally chose as part of our team. We've subsequently put out a request for proposals to other qualified property management firms and hope to select another firm that can provide those services at our property. Another of the community board's concerns are with regard to working with the church. We were made aware of the church interest in the site after we were designated in January of 2016. We subsequently reached out to the church. We had a few meetings. Nothing really came of that, and we did not have any further interaction with the church until they came to the community board meeting in December. At that hearing, I reached out to the pastor, asked him to meet, and we set a meeting date for the following week. The pastor did not attend that meeting. He wasn't available, and then I haven't had any response about having a follow-up meeting. So we are actively trying to address the community board's concerns there as well.
Questions from the commission? Is that the end of your presentation?
Yes.
Ted
had something, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Welcome.
Thank you. Just to add one quick thing. The RFP for this site was a very competitive one. We received 15 submissions, which is quite a bit. That I think the developers that generally do affordable housing saw this as a very good site to use. And we received a number of very good proposals. As you know, our process, the proposals all get reviewed by the planning division, our architects, the finance division, and we pick what we think is a very good proposal in many, many ways. And we therefore, of course, look forward to your approval. Thank you. And again, we'll all be here to answer questions.
Questions from the commission. Commissioner Marin.
Good morning, team. Ms. Anjapan, good morning. Thank you for being here. Question. I know that you mentioned that you had some conversations with the church and they kind of fell fallow. At this point, is there any other conversations you have you reached out to the church? Have they been responsive? What's the status of the conversations with the church?
When I went to the meeting that I arranged with the pastor, it was for December 29th. He did not come to the meeting.
17?
The 29th. It was
this year, the 17th.
Of 2017,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
And I followed up with emails and voicemails to try to reschedule a meeting, but I haven't had any response from the pastor about setting up a follow-up meeting.
Okay. And I know that there was two concerns out of the borough president's office from the public hearing. One was the use of IFAS, and the other was the larger sized family units. Can you talk to those?
Yes. The EFAS, we've talked with our contractor about these concerns. The contractor has said that the material EFAS has really kind of been developed and is a much better quality than what had been installed maybe 10 or 15 years ago. We are trying to make sure that the material will not cause, I know there were concerns with fading and concerns with staining due to pollution. So we're looking at colors that can remain vibrant and keep this look and feel that we want on the back of the building, and making sure, while also making sure that the material is something that will withstand time. So it is making sure that this remains visually attractive is something that's very important to us as well.
I think also the maintenance is important for you guys.
Yes, it is indeed.
That's more important than the material itself. And the response to larger size family units?
The design meets the HPD design guidelines, and there are a couple of features in some of the larger units that we're including that are not in the design guidelines, which include small spaces that are meant to accommodate a desk that are adjacent to some of the kitchen and living areas. So we're acknowledging that there are needs in larger families, especially for places to do homework or to have a computer, and we're trying to accommodate that within the constraints of the building.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, how are you? I'm going to take you up on your offer to break down your AMIs in terms of the percent, and then also if you happen to have your unit breakdown, that would be great.
I do have the
And I have a couple other questions.
So we have 5% at 40 AMI. This follow the HPD ELA program guidelines. So 30% of the units will be reserved for formerly homeless families. That's 50 units. We have 9 units or 5% at 40 AMI. The rents are set at 37% of AMI. We have 5%, another 5% at 50 AMI. We have 67 units, which is 40% at 60 AMI. And then we have a tier 20% of the units, which is 34 units at 80 AMI.
Great. And then do you mind also providing the unit mix? And I saw that you all are thinking, obviously it's a 100% affordable project, and I'm just wondering, why you settled on option 2 for MIH versus option 1, given the AMI levels in the community, and if you could also speak to what your process is going to be to fill the supermarket space.
We are, let's see if I can get all of those questions. The unit, the breakdown of the unit sizes, we have 25% studios, 30% one bedrooms, 27% twos, and 15% threes. So about 32% ones, 27% twos, and 15% threes. What was the second question?
The operator for the supermarket salon.
Yes, we have an operator that we're negotiating with currently who is very interested in the site. He is familiar with the Fresh program. There aren't other fresh grocers nearby, and there are other groceries nearby, but this is a little further north, and there isn't much north of the 138th Street corridor. So this is, he feels very strongly this is a great opportunity as an operator, so which is exciting for us too. Okay.
Commissioner, please.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
On that line, I was curious about sort of what the rationale was for the putting a grocer at this location. I mean, we acknowledge it's a little isolated from the corridor. Was that driven by the RFP? And if so, maybe HPD could speak to sort of why that was incorporated as a requirement in the RFP.
I don't know that it was a requirement of the RFP, but it was something that we felt would contribute to a need in the neighborhood at the time of submission. So that we included it in our RFP submission for those reasons.
Did the RFP mention anything about a grocer, or was that a decision that TCB made?
I think it was a decision that we made internally. I did not personally work on the RFP response, but yes, it was a decision that was made internally.
Okay,
yes.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Other questions? Yes, Commissioner Levin.
Yeah, with still on the Fresh store, I understand that the Fresh application will be coming separately and,
Yes.
and later. But does this building design already include the Fresh bonus, the additional floor area that would be allowed by the?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Okay, so when we see the Fresh application, we won't expect any changes in this design?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Oh, yes, Commissioner Deleuze.
I wanted to actually follow up, and congratulations to Bronx Works on the grant to serve the homeless families. Is it a multi-year grant? Is that, maybe we could hear a little bit about that.
Hi. Yes, it is a multi-year grant. So it's actually a state grant, and it's the Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative. So it's a SE grant that we awarded. And so we'll have that. It's multi-year. We have a great amount of experience. We've been operating shelters for homeless families since 1992. Certainly feel like we have the experience and the knowledge of knowing what's needed for the families and having the supportive services there. So I'll go down a little bit on the staffing levels that we'll have there as well. So We'll have several social workers, one of whom will be a licensed clinical social worker. It's the program director, the clinical case manager, and then, of course, we'll have 2 social workers that are LMSWs, and then 2 case managers, an administrative assistant, and 2 activity specialists that will coordinate the activities. Included in those services are things, programming for our children. So we'll have youth programming, which will include after school. We'll also have, in addition to the comprehensive case management, we provide medication monitoring, which means that for anyone who is on medication and voluntarily agrees, we have this in our other programs as well, we will make sure that they're taking their medication on a regular basis. We also have our domestic violence counseling that's available. And then we have a partnership with Montefiore where we have a part-time medical director that also helps us in terms of medical needs for our families. And then we also have partnerships with another group that also provide some psychiatric services if needed. In terms of workforce development, that's programming that we have located at another facility very close by. However, this allows us to be much closer to the residents that we're serving within those programs. We have the Jobs Plus program that services the Matanzas, Cortland, E. Robert Moore, and Melrose houses. And this is right within walking distance of most of those housing developments. In addition to that, the space that we're currently in does not, we have a number of classes that we provide, job training, certifications, a lot of them are OSHA certifications, and the classroom space that will be provided at this location will be much better and larger than what we currently have, so we'll be able to accommodate more program participants in the certifications. And if you need me to go down what those certification classes are, I can do that as well, so.
Yes, Commissioner Efron.
Can somebody in the group elaborate on the relationship between the People's Park and the exterior recreational facilities you have? Will there be transparency between them? Is there, maybe you could just describe it for us.
Yes, we'll have some transparency here. We expect to put up a fence that is matches what the Parks Department would use in this area. Right now, I believe they have a chain link fence that's on a masonry pedestal, but we would likely do something that's a little bit more attractive than that. But the idea is that it's visually porous, and this is the rear exterior wall of the grocer. So there is a wall here, and this is a kind of a roof of the grocer. So there will be a wall here, but this is expected to step down, and then we'll have something somewhat open visually here.
So that's I'm sorry, it's really hard to see it.
Maybe if the camera could zoom in on the board, then we could all see it. Yeah, if you get closer, that'd be, even more?
Okay. So that's the roof of the grocer, which means that is, what transparency could there be? It's just a wall.
Yes, at the ground level, no, but here there will be at the level where we have plantings and that the folks will be on the terrace. There will be some transparency, and then along here.
Oh, so there's transparency from the roof down, not from the playground into a courtyard, because the courtyard's above grade.
I don't think anybody wants to see the back of the grocery. Sorry.
The rendering is just a little bit confusing, and that does clarify for me. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions from the commission? Then thanks to the applicant team. Our first speaker in opposition is David Serrano.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. My name is David Serrano. I'm the pastor of Thessalonica Church for the last 28 years. The church has been in mud heaven for the last 78 years. We've been working for that community, and in 1992, we learned that the Park and Recreation wanted to do an extension of People's Park on that location. So we submit a proposal to the planning board and they accepted the proposal. So we went to the channels, we went to Mr. Strand, who was the commissioner at that time, and they agreed to pass the land to HPD, like that we can buy the land from HPD. HPD was located at Longwood Avenue by that time. So we start the process, and then suddenly they changed the office to Manhattan. And according to the information that we get, they lost our record. Then after that, they told us that they misplaced our record. So we have to start the process all over again. In that process, with the construction committee, we decided it was only two components that we had, the church and the community center. So we decided to add a third component, that it was housing. So in 2004, we went to HPD, and we did a presentation, and when we did the presentation, they accepted the presentation. They said that within a week, we was going to get the ULIP number. We never received anything. Then our representative from the planning board told us that Mr. Ted Weinstein informed him that they rejected the project. Until today, I didn't receive a letter or a fax or any information about why they rejected the project. But, you know, they are our leaders, so we believe what they were saying. So we went to them, we asked them, give us 3 of the top developers here in the city, because we don't want to make the same mistake. So they gave us 3 numbers. We spoke to them, we interviewed them, and we choose full spectrum. And I think 2009, we was ready to do a presentation to HPD when Mr. Ted Weinstein informed our representative from the planning board that some financial problems happens with this group, so we couldn't use them anymore. Okay, so.
The 3 minutes is up. Would any members of the commission have questions? Yes, Commissioner Marin.
Reverend Serrano, could you please elaborate on the full spectrum financial situation, please?
Well, we never was informed about what was the situation. It was a financial situation. That's why they informed us. So after that, we got another developer to do the project, and after we was working with Evanhard Developer Corporation, the city of New York assigned Evanhard to deal with a situation that they had on the building, and unfortunately that didn't work, so they called or they didn't call, I'm sorry, they spoke to our representative again, and they said, Evanhard has a problem, you guys cannot use it. So we've been fighting for this since 1994. We did a presentation to the planning board, they accepted. We did a presentation to the board of president, they accepted. We did a presentation to the council lady, they accepted. But we never had the chance to deal with HPD in this matter. So what I would like for you to do is maybe delay your decisions, because we are doing an investigation, because the church and our community feel that it wasn't fair, the treatment. First, because the lots were assigned to Park and Recreation. Then Park and Recreation let the lots go to HPD. When we start dealing with HPD, on 2 or 3 times they let us know that we was about to get the ULIP number, and we never got it. When they say they lost or misplaced our record, we have to start all over again. When they rejected our project, we have to start all over again. When Full Spectrum have problem with them, we have to start all over again. When Mr. Ebenhard Development Corporation had problem with them, we have to start all over again. So what I would like is, please give us up to 6 months. Because we are doing an investigation, because we feel, and I got paperwork.
If you would submit that to the secretary after the questions, we'd appreciate that.
Okay, sure.
Questions from the commission? Yes, Commissioner Reade.
Thank you for your testimony. Quick question. When HPD issued the RFP, did you submit or were you part of a submission
They
to
never
the
did.
RFP?
I'm sorry, but they never did. And 3 times they said there was going.
When you say they never did, meaning?
They never gave us the ULIP number.
But when they issued the RFP, my question is, were you part of a submission
Yes.
in response to the RFP?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And even after they choose the developer, it's a company here or an organization they call Housing Development Corporation. They came to us and they spoke to us and they said that they was willing to do the project for us. And I called personally Mr. Ted Weinstein and I told him if there is any way that you guys can reverse that decision because we got these organizations that is willing to do this project for us. And he said, no, it's nothing that you can do to reverse that decision. So that's why we couldn't do anything until last month that we went to the planning board and we remind them what was going on and they rejected the project. So I.
Senator Marin, did you have additional questions?
I do. Reverend Serrano, I just want to be a little bit more specific. You mentioned that you responded to a 2004 HPD RFP. This RFP was led in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Did you respond to the RFP? And I'm being a little bit more technical.
In 2014?
Yes. Did you respond with a team to the 2014 RFP?
Yes.
You did. Okay. And also, so you weren't chosen, but Community Builders, correct? Yeah. I'm sorry. Was, and they have been reaching out to you guys. Have you tried to endeavor to partner with them on this deal?
Yes. The last time she called me, she tried to set up a meeting with me, and we set up a day, but I got sick. And I called her and I told her, listen, I couldn't make it. After that, she was going to call me, and I don't recall that she called me. But yeah, we was willing to work because, but the problem here is that we start an investigation because we feel, and when I say we, I'm talking about the church and I'm talking about the community. We feel that it was unfair what happens between the transfer of the lot to HPD and us dealing with them.
Thank you.
Sure.
Other questions? Commissioner Delos.
So, Mr. Serrano, putting aside for a second the concern about the process, I'm wondering how you feel about the proposal itself. To bring 170 units of affordable housing and community space to the community. I'm wondering what the vision is that you and the church was thinking of bringing to the space, and if there are similarities in the vision.
Yes, we had the presentation that we did in 2005. It was under the C6, the R6 zoning. So it was about 80 because the idea of a housing, it was from the church. We said, you know, it's 2 components. We should add 1 more component to the project. So we decided to do housing. And we did a presentation. And right now, our architect is working on the project, but on a different zoning code. Now it's 7D. So we already working on that. Because 2 reasons. Number 1, we think that the process was unfair to the church. And number 2, because we can bring something better to the community than what they offering.
Yes.
Can you share what you believe that is? what you would bring to the community, to the project and to the community that's different than what the community builders is proposing?
Yeah, we're going to have three components. We're going to have church, community space, and housing. In our community is a big need, and we've been supplying or helping the people in our community for almost 80 years. So I can bring you homeless, married couples, women, men, young people that have been helped by the church community until today. And what I would like is a chance just to prove if there was something wrong in the process.
So given that you said that the church was moving in a new direction to, I think you said church, community center, and then housing, has the church actually completed an affordable housing project?
We work as a sponsor on the 350 St. Anne's, that is a building in front of the church.
Okay, great, thank you.
Sure.
Other questions for the Reverend? Yes, Commissioner Eady.
Just one last comment. Leaving aside the question of the process and the perception of fairness, what I would recommend is the team is here today. Maybe pull out your calendars and find an opportunity to get together and continue the dialogue and see if there's a way the parties can work together.
Okay, we can do that.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
And thank you for your time and testimony, Reverend.
Sure, thank you. Have a nice day.
Our next speaker in opposition is Panos Koutris.
Good morning. My name is Panos Koutris. I'm a building service worker and a member of 32BJ SEIU. I'm here today testifying on behalf of my union. 32BJ is the largest property service workers union in the country. Many of us work in residential buildings like the one the community builders and HPD are proposing to develop at the 335 Street Anse Avenue and 540 East 142nd Street. I'm here to make sure the development team is committed to creating high-quality jobs at the site. This project is going to create badly needed affordable housing in the Bronx. My union believes that new affordable housing can also create new good jobs. Jobs that pay wages that allow people to afford to put a roof over their head, save for retirement, and access health benefits. That is why we are arguing the City Planning Commission to recommend that HPD and the Community Builders commit to developing a local hire program and to commit to paying the industry standard prevailing wage for building service workers in the Bronx. My union and I understand how important new affordable housing is for this neighborhood. A good jobs commitment is an important step towards ensuring that this development truly benefits the Bronx. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Koutris. Questions? Yes, Commissioner Deleuze. Mr. Koutris?
It's maybe for Mr.
Come on back.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much for being here. And,
Sorry,
it's maybe a question for you, or perhaps someone from
Yes,
32BJ
Mr. Brown, Jr.
can respond afterwards. I'm just wondering, I'm unaware of an ELA project, 100% affordable project at this depth of affordability that also has 32BJ contract. And if there is one, I would be interested to find out.
Okay.
If you could follow up with that information after the hearing,
Of course.
we'd appreciate that.
Of course, of course.
Thank you. Now, those are the only speakers who have registered to speak. If there is anyone else interested in speaking at this time? If not, the hearing is closed. And Madam Secretary, it appears that this is the only item on the agenda. Anything else? Well, then the meeting is adjourned, and have a good Valentine's Day to all.
And to you, Chair.